What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Show with another video, and today we're talking about Bungie, talking about Destiny 2. Now, there's been a lot of talk about Destiny 2 and basically it dying, Now, for years, Destiny 2 has been the flagship title in looter shooter genre, like it's the looter shooter. Pulled in millions of players with this giant universe, engaging mechanics, and iconic raids. It's got PvE, it's got PvP, it's got a mixture of both in some game modes. Destiny 2 is planned to last for 10 years, has a successful outlook. However, if recent stories are to be believed, Destiny 2's player count has been dropping rapidly. People are complaining that content is repeated. They're bringing back stuff from D1 and saying it's basically new, and so many people are questioning whether Destiny 2 is nearing its end. To be honest, from my personal standpoint, right, I played Destiny for over thousands of hours. When this whole Destiny dying thing happened, I actually didn't play Destiny in like so long. I've been playing Warframe, and I know it's a whole other thing on top of a thing, but to me personally, I'm not trying to compare both of them, right? But you might see a little bit of a comparison throughout the video, just simply talking about my switch to different games. But no, I played Destiny 2 for years. I played D1. I was really heavy into that. Played D2. And I've always liked it. I've always liked Destiny. I don't know. The Destiny 1 to me, even with the lack of story, it always kind of captivated me. I always liked the gameplay loop. When it came out with Destiny 2, it was kind of the same thing for me. It was like, yeah, it's good. Gameplay loop is sort of similar. They made enough changes, but fast forward all the way until like the final shape. There was one specific mission to me that I really just did not like. And I'm not saying I quit the game over it. It's just, to me, it just more felt like it was part of the reason why Destiny is now being pronounced dead. Now, there's an exotic class item that you had to get by doing like a series of hard challenges with other people. It's not necessarily a raid, it's literally a mission that's like co-op based, which is not bad, right? But there's some people that play Destiny solo. Now, a lot of the games that I like to play, I play a lot of story related games. I play Final Fantasy and such, Warframe. Well, in a sense, it's not a single player game, but it has a great solo experience. There's a lot of things you can do in those games without actually playing with another person. I'm not saying that a multiplayer game is supposed to be not multiplayer, don't get me wrong. All I'm basically saying is that when this came out and it was shown that you had to basically co-op with another person and it was like a challenging experience, people didn't like it. Now, normally people do like stuff that is hard and it gives you a bit of a skill gap, but this in particular did not land with people. I grinded every DLC faithfully, and the final shape was just one I just really couldn't do. Speaking of the final shape, right? Let's say all I said was nitpicks. Speaking of the final shape is the ending of the story. It is the ending of the Destiny story. Like, basically the witness and everything else was supposed to be like the end of everything. It's weird because we knew that Destiny been out so long, it had to be reaching that story conclusion, but it's still too early to come out with it because they're supposed to be on a 10-year plan, which is almost complete but not quite there yet. But my whole thing is, when you end a grand adventure like that, the story that was building up from the beginning of 2 games, and give us a final boss, everything after that feels like DLC, and DLC to me doesn't feel like a new game. So to me, it's difficult to play after defeating the final boss and continuing to play the game. I think people are just bored at this point. Now, I'm not saying this is impossible, right? Okay, some games can pull it off, like Final Fantasy 14. That's an MMO, and I think with Endwalker, I believe they actually completed their main story. They basically put a cap on their main story that's been going on for years and basically ended it, and now they're trying to kind of rebuild a new story, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's going okay, but when you have a story that's been building over so many years and it finally reaches a conclusion, as like a main player, there's something that's not really locked into Destiny 2 like that anymore. Once you beat the raid, it's pretty much like, you're grinding and stuff, but people that are immersed into the story, for the story content, it's pretty much over. Now, to me, probably the biggest thing that's leading to Destiny 2's decline is it's a catch-22, because Destiny 2 is declining because there's not enough people to play raids and dungeons, and it's taking forever to get in queues, but there's not enough people because people don't want to play. It's weird in a sense, right? But a lot of people are complaining because they can't get into dungeons, or they're trying to get into certain raids and people either don't know what to do or they don't want to teach. I've experienced this a lot, you know, in the beginning of Destiny, like Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, I feel like people were a lot more helpful with certain situations. Like, yeah, well, in Destiny 1, towards the end, that was like the meta, right? You had to have a certain rocket launcher in order to even be good, or even be considered worthy enough to be in a raid. And that to me has always been toxic culture. So Destiny 2, Bungie decided to try to like change that in a way where they started nerfing certain guns and stuff, so there's not one specific overpowered weapon, you know. But regardless, I think Destiny 2 still started to get like that. People don't want to teach no more, and I get it. You know, some people want to get in and get their run and get out, but at that point, it feels more like a job. You know, like whenever I'm raiding with my team, we'll take on a person that don't know what to do and teach them what to do. You know what I'm saying? Show them how to actually do certain roles and stuff, and be a little patient. But not everybody's like that. People want to get their weekly reset loot, and they just want to go. And I mean, I can't really blame them, because I mean, a lot of people don't have the time to just kind of sit through and pull somebody through a raid, in a sense, or pull somebody through a dungeon. And it's just weird, because you have to kind of look at a guide for the dungeon or a raid to even kind of know what to do, and then it still may be confusing. But no, that's a lot of the reason why Destiny 2's player base is kind of falling off. I think they got a good foundation, but it's more like people just not interested anymore. It's boring, you know. I've had friends that said they have trouble queuing. I've had friends that actually came to play with me on Warframe because they said Destiny is declining. I literally came back to gaming not too long ago, and then so many people telling me, yeah, Destiny's just not it anymore. Like, it's too much, it's too grindy. And on a little small note before we end the video, I'm all for the grind, right? Like, I'm a JRPG lover, so I love, you know, maxing out stats and min-maxing, becoming OP and becoming broken. I love all of that, right? But I feel like some of the grind for Destiny be mind-numbing. Like, I know I said I wasn't gonna compare, but the grind for Warframe and the grind for Destiny is similar in certain instances. But for me, like, it took me like a week, and I got like so many prime Warframes or whatever. And Destiny, one exotic takes like forever, especially if you work a full-time job. You know what I'm saying? Like I do. Like, it takes forever to actually get stuff in Destiny 2. It's like, yeah, you'll get it, and like you'll be like, okay, this is fun to throw on a build or something. But then again, the build seems like they're limited. Like, there's not really much you can do. There's no new Guardian types, no, you know what I'm saying? To me, it's like we have this giant game that's been big for years, and all we've been getting is crazy DLC, which is true. But to me, I want something that's like a DLC that feels more innovative. Like, I want a new Guardian type. You know what I'm saying? Cool. You can give us new powers like Strand and, you know, and all of those powers. And they gave us the power that mix all the powers together. But realistically, let's get a new Guardian. Like, a new Guardian type. I know the game's lore is not set for that, but we can always make something up. Give us something new and interesting to go build, you know? But with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video.